I'm sure you already know the biggest plot twist ending in history of histories, Sean Diddy Combs' verdict being not guilty on the biggest charges. And he got, charged with breadcrumbs. You couldn't have escaped Diddy's face on social media. It was all over the place. That's how big it was. Even if the aliens decided to, come to Earth for a visit, hey, we're here. Are you guys shocked? No one would have paid attention. Everyone's focus would have been on Diddy and, discussing the Diddy case. Even if you weren't on social media, either your friends, mom, dad, someone came up and told you. I was at the club last night with my friends. They came up to me, yo, Diddy is found not guilty. And my reaction was, they asked me, did you make a video about it? I hit them with a... But anyways, we discussed the charges last night. He was only found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution, which is literally breadcrumbs. There were people laughing at the screen, pointing at it and saying, hey, me too. I got charged with transportation to engage in prostitution as well. And I got 6 months in jail, maybe, 10 months. Or some didn't even go to jail. They just had to pay a, $1,000 fine for first time offenders. But anyways, there were a lot of people upset and some were happy about this whole thing. There were people outside the court celebrating with baby oil. When you open a champagne bottle, all over the place, it's like your first time jizzing, it just fucking flies all over the place. They were doing the same thing with baby oil. It was a baby oil party and Diddy was missing out. Now we discussed Diddy's bail. Since these are breadcrumbs right now, it's the Rico case, the Shakalaka Bum Bum trafficking, 2 counts. They both had a high sentencing, minimum 15 years. The possibilities of him getting out on these breadcrumbs charges were very, very high to make bail, to make bond. A lot of legal analysts, they've talked about this. A lot of criminal defense attorneys went on news articles and they talked how the chances are very high. And it makes sense. And I also said that, hey, there's a high chance he's going to get out with this. But apparently he didn't. He did not. He was denied bail.
So I'm not going to talk about the bail decision because it's still a pending unresolved matter.
Maybe thought he could go home tonight and then was told he couldn't.
So a lot of these things are still in process. I mean, the one thing I'm going to leave you with this. We are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started.
The federal prosecutors at least could save some face and say, hey, we're at least keeping him behind bars until further. They are being made fun of. They're the jokes of the whole, their office at this point. This was a huge embarrassment from the federal prosecution office. They're literally going to lose every roast battle between their colleagues, friends, and family. Hey, remember that one time you liked this girl for 5 years? You finally manned up and went and asked her out. She looked at you up and down and said, ew, disgusting. Poo on your face. That was really embarrassing. Hey, remember that one time you lost Diddy even though you had him dead to rights? There is no comeback from that line. That's it. They have to deal with that for the rest of their lives. Now, after 9 months of no free coughs, the free cough inside prison is just not the same. It doesn't hit Diddy the same. He thought he's getting bailed out so he can, have a big 4th of July party, if you know what I'm talking about. Big explosions everywhere with baby oil, obviously. But unfortunately for him, those dreams were shattered. I thought he's getting out as well amongst, everyone else. But the judge denied his bail. Diddy's lead attorney Mark and judge went back and forth after bail was denied. Even though when the verdict came, the defense immediately told the judge that, hey, $1 million bail, we'll put properties on the line, even take his planes away. We don't care. Just let our client go out to have his just let our client go back to his house with his family. We promise he won't do any free cops. Well, I'll personally go and watch it myself, monitor him to make sure he's not doing any free cops. But after prosecutors try to save some face for their office, the judge said he denied it because Diddy was not able to show that he wasn't a danger to the community. The judge said, you, the defense team, said yourself that, Diddy's a domestic abuser. Charge him with domestic violence. Don't charge him with trafficking and all of that because, you know, he's a domestic abuser. He does everything with consent when it comes to shakalaka bum bums. Obviously, throughout the whole 8 weeks of trial, the defense team tried to do damage control, trying to, you know, pinpoint it on domestic violence and say, you know, there was no RICO, there was no trafficking involved. And with that, I mean, they couldn't have said anything else. They literally, the video evidence was right in front of it, so they redirected the whole thing, brought jump scares to the jury with the text messages and all of that, you know, saying that, hey, that everything was consensual. Diddy just has some anger problem management, and this is the reason why judge said, hey, he's still angry, and he is an abuser, so bail denied. Now, what is happening next? When is he getting sentenced? Well, it was set for October, but the defense, you know, fought it off, and they were like, hey, we need it to be earlier, please. Thank you very much. And the judge said, okay, we're going to have an expedited sentencing set on 8th of July in like 5 days. They're going to sit in a meeting and they're going to be like, they're going to decide when the sentencing is. And the judge is considering having the sentencing earlier than October. Unfortunately for Diddy, his hopes of having, I mean, they're still fighting for the bail. Defense, they're not going to stop until they get him out, you know, ankle monitor. They're doing everything they can to get him out because Diddy wants one last free cough before he gets sent to prison. Very, very long time, like 6 months or something, honestly. Now, engaging in prostitution is a different thing. Transportation to engage in a prosecution, apparently it's a heavier thing. And what they're saying is, Diddy's defense is saying that each count starts at 21 months, but the prosecutors are saying that the sentencing guidelines starts at 51 months minimum. Since everyone's throwing in months, Your Honor, can I throw months too? I say 3,000 months minimum. Wait, how many years is that? Now, I don't want to tell the federal prosecutors how to do their job, but I'm going to say it anyways. They should have gone with like shit ton of charges for plan B and C. We've all seen the footage. We've all seen how he's acting. We've all, heard Cassie's side. We also heard Diddy's side as well with the defense attorneys. I think the safest option was the federal prosecutors. They went big or they go home, and they ended up going home with no plan B. They should have hit him with domestic violence in this, excessive use of baby oil, attempted murder by baby oil, of everything. They should have thrown everything right in front. Even though you would say that that's very overwhelming for the jury, and that's gonna, lead to the jury, taking, Combs' side in this. But I say, just by throwing RICO and sex trafficking, that was already overwhelming for the jury because they went big or go home. But their mistake was they didn't, go big or go home with the plan B, C, D, E, F, G. That's how they should have done it. So in case one didn't stick, there were at least others. Because the jury 100%, they would have found him guilty of domestic violence, as the video is right there. But let's see if these Saul Goodmans on steroids can get him out on bail, or even, give him the least sentencing, which is, I think, is going to be minimum of 2 years in, prison. Honestly, it's a very, very sad day for the justice system. It's a very sad day for the prosecutors as well, and a bigger sad day for the baby oil companies, as their biggest customer is still behind bars, and they won't be able to get those bonus checks from their extra sales that they did to one person, the CEO of baby oils. Anyways, just wanted to yap about this and update you. If you're still eating and you want to watch more videos with your nose, click on one of these. Don't come too close though. I'll charge you with shakalaka boom boom without consent. I'm just kidding. I'll give you consent. Anyways, you take it easy. I'll see you at the next one.